So now that we are having ourselves set up to where we can apply our cost gameplay effect when our magazine has been inserted, we need to do this predictively. So basically, on the client, no matter what their latency is when they insert the magazine, we want to update their ammo attribute values. Now, we could do this through a scope prediction window. However, what I have noticed is in here, as you can see, we are waiting on a gameplay event. If we actually look to this gameplay event, or sorry, send gameplay event to actor function, you can actually see it creates a new scope prediction window already. So from doing some reading, this seems like it causes a little bit of issues. I'm not entirely sure as to what the cause is. I'm not super experienced with gas, so take it with what you will. But basically, instead of using a new prediction window, we're going to create a network sync point. So basically, when the magazine is inserted, we create a new net sync point, just like we do, you know, any other ability task. And once that callback has been completed, we simply apply the cost, and that's it. So to begin, we want to go ahead and make it. So U ability task net network sync point. So we want this type here, and we need to make sure to include it like so. So ability task, network sync point. So let's head to our header, make a U property, and T object pointer of U ability task network sync point, and let's just call it magazine inserted sync point. We need to forward declare like so, and now we are ready to use it. So magazine inserted sync point equals U ability task network sync point wait net sync. So that's the function we call. We pass in the owning ability, which is this, and then the actual sync type. So E ability task net sync net sync type. We want only server wait. So this way, this is kind of notifying the server, like basically server's going to wait here, wait for something to be sent from the client. So once that has been received, it continues. Not sure if that was very clear, but it's kind of in the name network sync point. You're kind of waiting on something. So client's waiting on server, server's waiting on client, or they're both waiting on each other. Once we have this, we need to make the actual callback. So there's on signal callback. We want on sync. So on sync dot add dynamic, this for the object, and then we need a function which we're going to call U gameplay ability underscore reload. Let's call it on magazine inserted sync. So let's create that U function, void on magazine inserted sync, and there we go. So now we can simply create the definition. I do not want it to be inline. Thanks for doing that. And paste it. So we have our definition. From here, we can just apply the cost. And for the sake of visualizing it, I'm going to print out a log as well. So we have our on magazine inserted sync. Oops, I actually didn't mean to cut that. I meant to copy and paste. So I'll put that back. So let's go ahead and give this a try and just see what this looks like. Okay. Once we are back in the editor, we don't really need to touch any of this. Everything is default. And play as client. So we should have, our pretty bad latency. As you can tell by it's taken a little bit to actually sync up. But just in case, let me confirm. Because that felt a little fast. So yeah, 200, 200, 200, 200. So I went ahead and just kind of set them as fixed values. So now, when we bring up our ability system, or our attributes, I'm going to try to bring the magazine ammo down to 2, like so, and reload. So once the magazine gets inserted, Now we should instantly see current magazine ammo get refilled to 7 and current ammo reserve get pulled down to 79. So we reload, magazine inserted, and oh, I forgot to activate the task. So make sure you activate your ability tasks. That is usually quite helpful. Just saying, don't have to do what you want to do, but it's probably a good idea. Okay, let's give this another try. So go ahead and show debug. Go ahead and, dang it, I overdid it. So now the current ammo reserve is just going to be 78 instead. So I press R, magazine inserted, and you can see those values instantly changed. So we refilled our magazine and we took away from our ammo reserve. So now we want to test the other side of things, specifically what happens when our ammo reserve is, too low, for example. Let's go to the 1911, find the ammo category, ammo reserve. We'll do 10. So we can actually, we're not ending the ability, so we can't do that. Let's do 2. So we only have 2 remaining rounds. So what we're going to do is, let's see. So we're going to have 2 remaining rounds. So let's say if we fire, I don't know, 4 shots. So 7 minus 4. Actually, let's do 5 shots. So 7 again, minus 5. So we end up with 2 rounds left. So we're going to need, 5 shots. So that would make this, we would end up with a total of 4 after we reload. So current magazine ammo should be 4 once I get this to 2, and these should be 0. So we're going to press R to reload. Magazine inserted. We are at 4. So we consumed the remainder of our ammo reserve that we had left over. So that means everything is working, everything is predicted, and it is good to go. So I'm going to revert that back to 84 and save all. So let's just do one more confirm. So we will play with 2 clients with this high ping. So I'll run over here. So I'll reload on this guy. So everything seems to be good to go. So the only thing I want to do now is on reload complete, I want to end the ability. So we can actually remove these logs, and I just want to simply call end ability. So it'll take in the current spec handle, current actor info, current activation info, and we don't really care about replicating the end. So false and false because it was not canceled. So now we should be able to reload multiple times. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The only thing we need to do after that is handle our blocking tags. So let's go ahead and try it. So we will reload, shoot more, reload again, and there we go. And just to confirm, even though it should be fine, we will do the client as well. So shoot a bunch, reload, shoot more, reload, shoot again, reload. All right. So there is seeming to be some issues, and this could actually be those blocking tags I was referring to. So for example, if I shoot, you can see it's kind of trying to catch up. So I think are we about in sync yet? No. Okay, so we're having actually some issues with the prediction key. So when it's doing that, it becomes out of sync. So it could likely be due to the waiting on the sync point. I'm not entirely sure. But basically, if I reload and I instantly left click, you can see we're able to shoot, and that causes some issues. Okay, and weirdly enough, now I'm not able to reproduce said issues. Oh, there we go. I may have, I'm not 100% sure. But pretty much, we want to block the ability to fire while we're reloading. So that's a fair bit of our problem. So same thing, while we are reloading, we don't want to be able to aim. Well, maybe we want to aim. We'll figure that out later. We don't want to be able to cycle our weapon, and we don't want to be able to fire. So if we head over to let's just go to our, I don't know, that weapon switching ability that we have, cycle to next weapon, we can just copy these guys right here, and we'll also go ahead and set an asset tag. So let's copy and paste into our reload ability. Let's go ahead and include the ability tags like so. And we need to make another set of asset tags. So we have our asset tags for fire and aim. Let's make one for reload like so. Go to the header, duplicate, and make your, reload basically. So we have that guy. Let's set the asset tag to asset tags reload. So now that we have that, we don't want to be able to aim, we don't want to be able to fire, and we do not want to be able to cycle to next equipable. So likewise, in the cycle to next equipable, we do not want to be able to reload either. So this will block us so we cannot reload while we are cycling to the next gun. So once we have that, I think we are good to go. So let's go ahead, close down, restart the editor, and just make sure that these blockers are actually working. Okay, once we are back inside the editor, here we can see, here's our gameplay ability reload, and it went ahead and added all the tags for us. So let's first off give this a try just in standalone. So we can currently equip, but if I start my reload, I cannot equip, nothing happens until I end it. So now I can then cycle to the next weapon again. Likewise, if I cycle and then press R, nothing happens because it's blocked, and that is good. I reload, I cannot shoot, and I cannot aim. So that is also good. So everything seems to be blocking accordingly. So now that all that is out of the way, I'm just going to go ahead and, there's actually not much more to do. So I guess in the next video, we're going to work on fixing the montage part. So for example, what unequips and then re-equips, just does that little animation at the end. We're going to resolve that. And we also don't want the ability to reload unless we are, our magazine is not full and we do have ammo in the reserve. So basically we're going to add on to these conditions to where we can only activate the ability if we have ammo, we don't, our ammo in the magazine is not equal to our magazine's max ammo. And if we have ammo reserve, as in we have ammo that we can, pull from to fill our magazine with. So those will be simple conditions. Anyhow, that is going to be all for this video, and I will see you in the next one. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description below, where you can also get early access to this entire series.